Let me make this clear from the jump. If you're still living under the illusion that hard work alone is going to change your life, you've already lost. Because we're not living in a world that rewards effort anymore. We're living in a world that pays you only for what you can produce, what you can deliver, what results you can create. And the quicker you accept that truth, the quicker you escape the hamster wheel that everyone else is stuck in. You can either keep doing what they taught you in school, show up, work hard, wait your turn, or you can throw that rulebook out the window and start playing the real game, the game where value wins, where results get paid, and where the ones who understand that, the ones who master high-income skills and use them to create impact, they don't wait for permission, they take control. That's what this is about. Not theory, not fluff, just the cold, brutal, freeing reality of what it really takes to win in today's world. No one pays you for effort, they pay you for results. There's this lie that's been fed to you since you were a kid. Work hard and you'll be successful. You heard it from teachers, parents, society. They all clapped when you stayed up late doing homework or when you worked overtime for minimum wage. But no one stopped to ask, what did you actually produce? Because here's the truth, no one wants to admit. No one in this world pays you for trying. They pay you when something gets done. Results. Tangible, undeniable outcomes. That's the currency of winners. Go to any high-level boardroom. Do you think the CEO cares how long the marketing team brainstormed? No. They care how many leads came in, how many converted, what the ROI is. Results. You could spend 50 hours on a logo, but if it doesn't increase brand recall or conversions, it's trash. You could grind 80 hours building a product no one wants, and you'll end up broke and bitter. That's how brutal the market is. It doesn't care about your effort. It doesn't even care about your feelings. The market is a mirror. It reflects only your results. This is why people stay broke. They think working hard is noble. They wear struggle like a badge of honor. But the people who get paid, who win, who live free, they don't chase the grind. They chase precision. They chase mastery. They focus on solving actual problems for other people. That's the game. That's the shift you have to make in your mindset. Move from a worker to a winner, from a doer to a closer. You go to the gym for 2 hours, you sweat, you push, you cry, great. But if you're not progressing, if your lifts aren't going up, your body isn't changing, you're not training, you're just burning time. Same in business. You can work on your business for 8 hours and move nowhere. Or you can take one high leverage action, send a cold email that lands a client, fix an ad that triples conversions and make more in a day than some do in a month. That's not luck. That's understanding what matters. You gotta rewire how you think about value. People aren't ATM machines. They don't owe you anything. They pay you when you make their life better, their business better, their problems smaller. That's it. You wanna build wealth? Learn to produce results. Get obsessed with outcomes. Turn yourself into someone who moves the needle, who doesn't just show up, but shows up and delivers something undeniable. Let's talk about real-world examples. A mediocre video editor charges $100 for 5 hours of work. A skilled one charges $1,000 for one video that blows up engagement and sales. Both spent time. One made impact. One made the result obvious. That's who gets paid. That's how skills beat time. That's why high-income skills aren't just about what you do. They're about what happens after you do it. Do people sell more? Do their emails convert? Do their videos go viral? Do their teams perform better? If yes, you get paid. If not, you get ghosted. This is why you should stop asking, how long should I work? And start asking, what outcome will this produce? That question changes everything. It kills busy work. It kills laziness. It forces you to stop hiding behind effort and start aiming for impact. That's when you become a different breed. That's when people start noticing. That's when your name gets passed around in rooms you've never even entered. Because people want solutions, not excuses. Your entire value in the marketplace comes down to one sentence. Can you get results predictably and fast? If the answer is yes, you're a weapon. You can write your own ticket. If the answer is no, it doesn't matter how long your resume is or how passionate you are. The world doesn't care. It's not fair, but it's true. And it's the most freeing truth once you accept it. Because now you can stop pretending. You can stop hoping someone will notice your potential. You can focus on what works, learning the skills that deliver results, and ignoring everything else. That's why high-income earners play a different game. They aren't reacting, they're producing. They aren't hoping for praise, they're tracking KPIs. They know that results are leverage, results are protection, results are freedom. Because when you can produce them, you never have to beg, you never have to wait, you never have to settle. You are in control. Your degree is not a skill. Stop hiding behind it. Everyone walks around like a degree is some golden ticket. They post their graduation photos with cheesy captions expecting applause. But here's the uncomfortable truth. No one in the real world cares about your degree unless you can do something with it. The world isn't short on people with pieces of paper. It's short on people who can solve problems. That's why most graduates end up broke, confused, and jobless. Because they bought into the lie that a degree equals a skill. It doesn't. A degree is proof you showed up. A skill is proof you can win. You're not paid because you studied. You're paid because you can execute. There's a massive difference. Someone who learned how to build high-converting websites through YouTube and trial and error will smoke a computer science graduate who's never deployed anything real. It's not even close. And yet so many people hide behind their credentials. I studied this, I majored in that. So what? What can you do? Can you grow my brand? Can you fix my funnel? Can you make me more money than I pay you? If not, then your degree is just wallpaper. And let's be real, most universities are outdated. They teach you theory from a textbook written in 2008. Meanwhile, the world is moving at the speed of AI, automation, and global competition. The kid who learned how to run Facebook ads from a $97 course has more leverage than the MBA graduate who's never launched a single campaign. That's not disrespect, that's reality. The market rewards proof, not potential. The scariest part, most people don't realize this until it's too late. They graduate, apply for jobs, get rejected, then spiral into confusion. I did everything right. No, you did everything safe, everything average, everything slow. The game has changed. Skills move fast, skills evolve. Skills don't wait for permission. If you're not constantly learning, building, testing, you're dead weight. The moment you stop worshiping your degree is the moment you start developing power, because now you're free to chase real skills, real outcomes. You don't care about status anymore. You care about impact. You start asking, what can I learn that makes me more valuable today? Not next year, not when you graduate, today. That mindset makes you dangerous. And let's kill this other myth too. No one's gonna give you a six-figure salary just because you went to school. Those days are over. You want six figures? Bring 6 figures worth of value. Learn how to pitch, how to close, how to write offers, how to solve urgent problems for people who have money and want to move fast. That's the game, not honors lists, not GPAs, not Dean's Awards, just skills. When you realize this, you stop comparing yourself to people on LinkedIn with fancy bios. You start building real momentum. You start gaining confidence, not from what you studied, but from what you know how to do. That's real self-belief. That's real leverage. That's when you walk into a room and know no one there can outwork you, outskill you, or outdeliver you. You don't need a certificate. You need competence. You need clarity. You need execution. Your degree might get your foot in the door, but your skills are what keep you in the room. And the best part, you can start building them right now. No school, no gatekeeper, just you, the internet, and your willingness to go all in. High-income skills give you leverage, not jobs. When you finally understand what leverage is, everything changes. Because most people don't have leverage. They have labor. They trade hours for dollars. They rely on someone else to pay them, someone else to decide what they're worth, someone else to approve their time off. That's not power, that's a leash. And the worst part is, most people think it's normal. They think it's security. But what they really have is a fragile setup that can be taken away with one decision from someone above them. One company restructure, one recession, one AI update, gone. But when you build a high-income skill, you flip the script. You go from asking for opportunities to creating them. From being a cog in someone else's machine to owning the entire system. That's leverage. Leverage means you're not begging for jobs, you're selecting clients. Leverage means you're not praying for a raise, you're raising your prices. Leverage means 1 hour of your time can be worth more than someone else's entire week. Because now you can produce results that other people can't. And that makes you irreplaceable. High-income skills don't trap you, they free you. When you can write a sales letter that brings in $50,000 in a weekend, when you can build a landing page that converts 30%, when you can hop on a call and close a 10K deal, you're not waiting for validation anymore. You have leverage. You're not bound by location, degree, or job market. You're bound only by your own ability to execute. That's the truth no one tells you in school. No one tells you that freedom doesn't come from employment. It comes from skill. Real, monetizable, undeniable skill. The people with leverage can walk away from anything. They can say no to bad deals. They can fire clients. They can build systems, hire teams, scale operations, because they're not the ones desperate for survival. They're the ones holding the power. But you don't get leverage by copying what everyone else is doing. You get leverage by mastering something valuable and by knowing how to deliver it with precision and speed. You want leverage? Learn how to take a business from struggling to thriving. Learn how to generate leads, close deals, write persuasive copy, build systems that run without you. That's what leverage looks like. Leverage is when your skill multiplies your effort. When what used to take 10 hours now takes 1. When you can create $10,000 of value in a single move. And it's not about being smarter, it's about being obsessed with mastery. Because the people who master their skill are the ones who print money. You have to kill the employee mindset. The mindset that says, I hope someone picks me. No, you pick yourself. You build a skill, you create value, and you make sure people need what you offer. That's how leverage works. And once you get leverage, you stop fearing the future. Because it doesn't matter if the economy shifts or industries collapse, your skill travels with you. You are the economy. You are the asset. You want to live life on your own terms. Then stop looking for jobs and start building leverage. Every high-income skill is a path to that. Whether it's closing, copywriting, performance marketing, consulting, video editing, coding, once you're elite, the game changes. You're no longer playing to survive, you're playing to dominate.
Leverage is your only escape from the rat race, and it's not given to you. It's built in silence, in deep focus, in hours and hours of execution, while everyone else is distracted. It's built when you stop looking at your phone every 5 minutes, when you stop chasing dopamine and start chasing precision. That's when you win. You don't need leverage someday, you need it now. Because right now, you're either building it or being used by someone who already has it. Choose wisely.
You don't need a backup plan, you need obsession. The world doesn't reward balance, it rewards obsession. The people who build empires, who retire their families, who live on their own terms, they didn't get there by dabbling. They got there by going all in on one thing. While everyone else was planning their plan B, they were perfecting plan A. They burned the boats, they cut off comfort, and they made their only option work, not because it was easy, but because there was no other choice. You think you need a backup plan to feel safe. But what you actually need is conviction, because the second you start preparing to fail, you've already accepted it. That's what a backup plan is. It's failure insurance. It's a mental parachute that keeps you from fully committing. And here's the harsh truth. People who keep parachutes never learn how to fly. They hover, they drift, they never take off. Obsession is not unhealthy, it's necessary. If you want to master a high-income skill, you can't treat it like a hobby. You can't work on it when you feel like it, or when life is easy. You have to eat, sleep, breathe that skill until it becomes part of your DNA, until it feels unnatural not to do it. That's what separates the top 1% from everyone else. They're not more talented, they're just more focused, more locked in, more obsessed with becoming the best. You can't be casual about your goals and expect serious results. You can't build real freedom while playing it safe. There is no safety in plan B. There's only distraction. You have to be willing to make your plan work or die trying. That's the mindset. That's the edge. When you stop giving yourself an out, you force yourself to go deeper, to become sharper, to endure longer. That's when the breakthroughs come. You look around and wonder why so few people make it. It's not luck. It's not who they know. It's that they were willing to go to war for their dream while everyone else was building escape routes. That's the difference. They said no to parties. They said no to Netflix. They said no to normal. And they paid the price for a season so they could live free forever. That's what obsession gives you. It's not just intensity, it's clarity. It's knowing what matters and cutting out everything that doesn't. Most people are interested but not committed. They like the idea of success, but they're not willing to sacrifice for it. They flirt with their skill. They try it for a few weeks, then jump to the next shiny thing. That's why they stay stuck. Because you can't cheat mastery. You can't shortcut obsession. You either dive deep or stay shallow, and in the shallow end, there's no treasure. You don't need more time. You don't need better tools. You need a decision, a real one. The kind that says, I will make this work no matter what. I will master this skill no matter how long it takes. That's how you build power. That's how you become a weapon. Because once you're obsessed, you're unstoppable. Forget the people who tell you to slow down, to relax, to be realistic. They're not building what you're building. They're not chasing what you're chasing. Let them live average. Let them have their comfort. You're going all in, and that's why you'll win. Obsession doesn't make you crazy. It makes you dangerous. And in a world full of people with plan Bs, the one who burns the bridge becomes the one who can't be stopped. If you're not valuable, you're replaceable. That's the raw truth most people don't want to hear. They walk around like they deserve something just for showing up, just for being nice, just for being there. But life doesn't reward presence, it rewards value. And the second you become someone who isn't providing massive value, you become just another name on a list, just another body in a room, just another cost to be cut when times get hard. If your presence doesn't drive results, your absence won't be noticed. That's how brutal this world really is. Value is the only thing protecting you. Not your title, not your hours, not your feelings. If someone else can do what you do, faster, better, or cheaper, you are on the clock, and the market moves fast. New people come up every day. People who are hungrier than you, sharper, more obsessed. And if you're sitting there thinking you're safe because of your position or your relationship with your manager or how long you've been somewhere, you're already falling behind. The only thing that makes you untouchable is becoming so good they can't ignore you, so valuable they can't replace you, so consistent in delivering results that they're terrified of losing you. That's what a high-income skill does. It makes you rare, it makes you powerful, it makes you essential. You stop being an option and become a requirement. And when you reach that level, you don't ask for respect, you command it. You don't beg for money, you set your price, because you've proven that you move the needle. And the second you move the needle, people stop questioning your worth and start adjusting their budgets to keep you around. Look at how businesses operate. They're ruthless. If you're not driving revenue or cutting costs, you're a liability. And no one keeps liabilities around for long. That's why people get laid off even when they've worked somewhere for years. Loyalty means nothing without leverage, and leverage comes from value. You either have it or you don't. It doesn't matter how many motivational quotes you post, how positive your attitude is, or how much effort you put in. If you're not solving real problems, you're not safe. People think value is about showing up early or staying late. That's just desperation disguised as discipline. Real value is measurable. Real value is undeniable. You can't fake it. You can't pretend to have it. You can't talk your way into it. You either get results or you don't. You either know how to deliver outcomes that people want or you don't. And if you don't, someone else will. That's why the smartest thing you can do right now is stop worrying about titles, salaries, and recognition. Start worrying about becoming elite. Become a closer. Become a technician. Become someone who dominates their lane so completely that people talk about you when you're not even in the room. That's how you win. That's how you stay in demand. That's how you build a reputation that makes people chase you instead of you chasing them. Being valuable isn't about being perfect. It's about being irreplaceable in your skill, about being someone who delivers under pressure, who adapts, who innovates, who brings solutions when everyone else is bringing excuses. That's the type of person who never worries about getting fired or replaced. That's the person who always has options, always has offers, always has leverage. If you want to rise, focus on this one thing: increase your value every day. Learn more, execute faster, communicate better, solve bigger problems, and cut the fluff. Because the people who rise aren't the ones who do the most. They're the ones who do what matters most. That's the game. That's the difference. And if you play it right, no one can touch you. Information is useless without ruthless execution. There are more podcasts, books, tutorials, and courses than ever before. You're drowning in information. Everyone knows where to start, what tools to use, which platform to build on, which skill to learn, but none of it matters if you don't do the work. And most people don't. Most people are addicted to consuming. They call it research, learning, prepping, but it's really procrastination. They're hiding. They're comfortable in the knowledge loop. But knowledge without execution is worthless. It doesn't pay the bills. It doesn't move your life. It doesn't make you valuable. Only doing does. You could know everything about sales psychology, but if you never pick up the phone, you're broke. You could read 10 books on copywriting, but if you don't write daily and test what converts, you're still average. You could spend hours watching tutorials on Facebook ads, but if you never run one and see it fail and fix it again, you're just a fan. That's what most people are: fans of success. Spectators, observers, commentators, but not players, not killers, not executors. And the difference is execution. Always has been, always will be. You don't get paid for what you know. You get paid for what you apply. The people who win in this game are not the smartest. They're the most relentless, the most aggressive, the most action-biased. They see information as ammunition, not entertainment. Every new piece of insight is a bullet, and they're constantly reloading, aiming, and firing, fast, without fear, without waiting for perfection, because they know perfection is a lie. Waiting to feel ready is a lie. The only thing that matters is execution. Ruthless, imperfect, obsessed execution. You're sitting on skills you've never used, knowledge you've never tested, plans you've never launched, and you wonder why you're still in the same place. It's not because you don't know what to do. It's because you haven't done it. And deep down you know that. That's why the guilt is there. That's why the anxiety creeps in every time you scroll past another success story. Because you know you could be further. You know you're capable. But capability means nothing without output. Execution is what separates the talkers from the winners. The world is full of people who say, "I'm working on it." But there's a shortage of people who say, "I did it." There's a shortage of people who move with urgency, who hear an idea at 10 a.m. and have it launched by 4 p.m., who don't ask for opinions or wait for permission. They just move. They just act. They just win. Because they know that speed beats strategy when strategy stays in your head. You want to rise fast? Build the habit of immediate action. You hear something valuable? Apply it. You learn a technique? Test it. You get feedback? Adjust it. You make a mistake? Fix it. No ego, no delay, no waiting for motivation. Just execution. That's the muscle you need to build if you want to stand out in a world drowning in information. People are addicted to learning because it makes them feel productive. But learning is not progress. Learning is potential, and potential is useless until it becomes power, and power is only unlocked through execution. That's the truth. That's the uncomfortable shift. You can't watch your way to success. You have to move, and most people won't. But if you do, you'll win. Not because you had more talent, not because you had more luck, but because you were willing to do what others wouldn't. Execution doesn't require confidence, it creates it. You build belief by doing. Every rep, every attempt, every piece of output, it stacks proof that you are who you say you are. It removes doubt. It replaces hesitation with momentum. And momentum is everything. Momentum turns small actions into unstoppable waves. But it starts with a decision. I'm done consuming. I'm ready to execute. You already know enough. You've heard enough. Now it's about proving it, testing it, owning it. That's how you become elite. That's how you separate. That's how you become a weapon in any market, in any era, in any industry. Because while everyone else is thinking, planning, overanalyzing, you're executing. And that's the only thing that matters. Learn one skill and become elite at it. The fastest way to get rich, respected, and in control of your life is not by knowing a little about everything. It's by going deep on one thing and becoming world-class. Everyone's trying to be a generalist, trying to juggle 10 different hustles, jumping from one trendy skill to the next, hoping one sticks. That's why they stay average. That's why they never build momentum. Because greatness doesn't come from knowing more. It comes from mastering more.
It comes from picking one skill and treating it like your entire life depends on it. You don't become elite by multitasking. You don't become elite when you decide that one skill will become your weapon, your leverage, your freedom, and then you build it to a level where no one can question your value. When you're that good, people find you, clients chase you, teams revolve around you. Because there's a shortage of excellence in every industry, and the second you become exceptional at one skill, you print your own ticket. Most people fail because they're constantly switching directions. They're always looking for the next big thing, always trying to find an easier way. They never stay in the pocket long enough to break through. They give up when it gets boring. But boredom is the signal that mastery is close. Repetition is where precision is born. You don't get elite results from excitement. You get it from obsession. From drilling the same fundamentals 1,000 times until they are instinct, until they are invisible, until you can perform under pressure with zero hesitation. You need to simplify your life. Choose the one skill that makes sense for your personality, your brain, your hunger, and then attack it relentlessly. Whether it's sales, design, editing, coding, email marketing, video creation, branding, pick one lane and own it. Don't touch anything else until you dominate that space, until people hear your name and associate it with that skill instantly. That's how specialists win. Generalists get overlooked. Specialists get remembered. Becoming elite isn't about luck. It's about consistent daily work that compounds while the rest of the world is distracted. It's about turning your skill into a craft you respect, a craft you honor, a craft you sharpen every day, whether you feel like it or not. When everyone else is sleeping, you're working on your edge. When everyone else is coasting, you're studying the game. That edge is what makes you unstoppable. That edge is what makes people pay you 10 times more than your competition. Don't spread yourself thin. Don't try to impress people by knowing a little bit about everything. Go all in on your one thing and make sure it's something people need, something that creates impact, something that solves painful problems. Because when you align mastery with market demand, you become dangerous. You become the person that people need on their team. The person that clients want in their corner. The person who never worries about money because you've built the skill that prints it. Don't chase shiny objects. Chase depth. Because the money, the respect, the reputation, the freedom, it's all hidden under the boring part. The part where no one is watching. The part where most people quit. The part where the elite are forged. The faster you fall in love with that part, the faster you rise above the noise.
The market doesn't reward people who are okay at a bunch of things. It rewards people who are incredible at one thing. And that one thing becomes your brand, your positioning, your weapon. So stop looking around, stop overthinking. Pick your skill, commit to it, obsess over it, and become so good they can't ignore you. The market doesn't care about your passion. It cares about your impact. Everyone is obsessed with this idea of passion. Follow your passion. Do what you love. It sounds good, but it's weak advice because the market doesn't care what you love. It doesn't care what excites you. It doesn't care if you feel inspired. The only thing it cares about is can you solve problems and can you get results. The harsh truth is that impact gets paid, not emotion. If your passion doesn't produce results for other people, it's just a hobby, and hobbies don't make you rich. You could be obsessed with photography, but if you can't create content that converts for a brand, no one's paying you. You could love writing, but if your words don't drive sales or engagement or action, you're just another amateur with a keyboard. The people who win in this game understand that the market only values what it needs, not what you like to do. That's why the winners align their skills with market demand. They find out what people are struggling with, what problems are costing money, what solutions are in high demand, and then they become elite at delivering those solutions. Impact is about others. Passion is about you. The world doesn't reward you for self-indulgence. It rewards you for contribution. That's what separates the broke creatives from the rich ones. The ones who rise are the ones who build their passion around a real skill that delivers real outcomes. The ones who are willing to mold their interests into a high-income weapon instead of waiting for the stars to align and some dream job to fall into their lap. You don't need to wake up every day feeling passionate. You need to wake up with purpose, with fire, with obsession, because even the most successful people didn't always start with passion. They started with execution. They got obsessed with getting better. And as they saw the results stack, as they saw lives change, as they saw freedom grow, that created passion. Passion follows impact, not the other way around. So stop asking, what do I love? And start asking, what problem can I solve that people will pay for? Find that, and then find a way to enjoy the process. That's how you win. You build the passion as you build the power. You get passionate when you see your skills change someone's business. When you see your talent put food on your table. When your ability builds leverage and freedom and independence. That's real passion, the kind that's earned through effort and execution. You need to kill the fantasy that your dream life will come from doing what you love 24/7. That's a lie. Your dream life will come from becoming insanely valuable to the market and then using that value to buy your time back. Then, and only then, can you afford to be passionate on your terms. Until then, you need to focus on being useful. You need to become a problem solver.
A force, a skilled operator who moves with precision and delivers results like clockwork. Nobody cares how much you love what you do. They care about what your work does for them. They care about how much better you can make their life, their business, their brand. You want to win? Make your passion their gain. Make your talent their solution. Make your obsession their advantage. That's how you stop being a dreamer and start being a threat. The sooner you stop chasing passion and start chasing impact, the sooner you'll wake up to a life most people only dream about. Because impact is what unlocks everything you're really after: money, freedom, fulfillment, control. And it doesn't happen by accident. It happens when you shift your focus from self-expression to service, from noise to results, from wishing to winning. And when you make that shift, the game finally starts to bend in your favor.
Time is not money, skills are money. This phrase, time is money, is one of the biggest lies you've been taught. Time is not money, time is just time. It's what you do with that time that creates money. You can spend 10 hours scrolling on your phone and you'll make nothing. You can spend 10 minutes closing a deal and make $10,000. The variable isn't time, it's skill. Skill is the multiplier. Skill is what turns minutes into money. Skill is what allows one person to make more in a week than another does in an entire year. And until you understand that, you'll keep wasting your time thinking it's the thing that matters. Everyone has the same 24 hours, but not everyone can turn those 24 hours into income, impact, freedom. Why? Because most people haven't built the skills to monetize their time. They're operating on an old system. Clock in, clock out, get paid by the hour. That's slavery with extra steps. The people at the top don't trade time for money. They use their time to build and deploy high-income skills. They use their time to build leverage, not labor. And that's why they win. You can sit there and grind 12-hour days and still be broke if what you're doing isn't valuable. You can work hard for years and still be average if what you're offering isn't rare. Effort doesn't equal income. Precision does. Results do. The person who knows how to solve a painful problem in an hour is worth more than the person who works 10 hours trying to look busy. The world doesn't pay for hours, it pays for outcomes, it pays for confidence, and skill is the source of both. When you build high-income skills, you become someone who can generate income on command. You don't need permission, you don't need perfect conditions, you just need to plug into a market that needs your skill, show them what you can do and deliver. That's it. You could be dropped in any city in the world, and if you've mastered a high-income skill, you'll never go hungry. Because money flows to people who can create value fast and efficiently. Money flows to people who have options. Money flows to people who are dangerous with their skills. You have to shift out of this employee mindset that tells you your time is what matters most. The only thing that matters is how much you can produce in that time, how much influence you can create, how many lives you can impact, how many dollars you can generate. You don't need to work more. You need to be worth more. You need to build skills that pay, not just habits that pass time. Because the people getting rich right now are not the ones working the hardest. They're the ones working the smartest, stacking skills and executing with speed and confidence. Ask yourself this: if you had to make $10,000 this month and you couldn't use your job, what would you do? If your answer is I don't know, then you don't have skills, you have a schedule. And that should scare you, because the economy doesn't care about your schedule. It doesn't care how tired you are. It cares if you can do something that matters and do it better than the rest. That's the only thing that keeps you valuable. That's the only thing that keeps you in demand. And that's the only thing that guarantees you won't be left behind when the next wave hits. You don't get time back. You don't get to rewind and make up for the years you wasted. But you do have now. You do have today. And what you choose to do with it matters. You can keep convincing yourself that hard work is enough. Or you can get honest and realize that only high-value work creates real money. You can study. You can fail. You can try again. You can build the skill that turns your time into leverage, into income, into freedom. That's the real path. That's the only path that matters. Becoming irreplaceable starts with becoming undeniable. You don't become irreplaceable by hoping people notice you. You don't become irreplaceable by showing up and doing what everyone else is doing. You become irreplaceable by being so undeniably good that people have no choice but to depend on you, no choice but to respect you, no choice but to move around your standards, your terms, your expectations. That's how you win. Not by being loud, not by being liked, but by being so good, so consistent, so precise in your skill set that no one can take your spot. The world doesn't care about effort anymore. It's saturated with people trying their best. You want to be remembered? Be a killer. Be the one who walks into a room and everyone knows you're the most competent person there. Be the one who speaks with authority because your track record is proof. Not because you say you're good, but because you've shown it over and over and over again. That's what makes you undeniable. And once you're undeniable, you become irreplaceable. Because people will do whatever it takes to keep you on their team, to keep your mind, your energy, your execution in their world. You can't skip this process, you can't fake it. Being undeniable is built in silence, in the hours no one claps for, in the repetitions no one sees, in the studying, failing, adjusting, and mastering that you do when no one's watching. It's built by turning your standards up so high that even your normal becomes exceptional. You stop comparing yourself to people around you and start comparing yourself to your own potential. That's how the shift happens. That's when you stop being just another face in the crowd and start becoming a name people remember. Undeniable people don't ask for validation. They create results so loud they become impossible to ignore. They aren't waiting to be discovered. They position themselves to be seen by mastering their space. They don't compete, they separate. They find their edge and sharpen it so relentlessly that no one else can replicate it. And when they speak, it's with the authority of someone who has done the work. That authority can't be bought. It can't be gifted. It's earned through performance. Irreplaceable doesn't mean perfect. It means necessary. It means the thought of losing you creates panic because your presence solves real problems. Your absence costs real money. When you reach that level, no one cares about your resume or your degree or your networking skills. They care about keeping you because they know replacing you isn't an option. That's the level where power begins. That's the level where leverage lives. You don't become that by accident. You become that on purpose, by outworking, outthinking. You show up when others quit. You stay calm when others panic. You solve problems when others create them. You bring answers when everyone else is still asking questions. That's what makes you a weapon. That's what makes you someone people rely on. And that's what separates you from the masses forever. Becoming undeniable means never being satisfied, never thinking you've arrived, always asking how to level up, how to serve better, how to sharpen the blade. It's not about ego, it's about dominance. It's about understanding that in a world full of noise, the only thing that cuts through is proof, and proof only comes through consistent, disciplined execution at a level most people will never touch. You can talk all day about how serious you are, but the proof is in your results. The proof is in how you show up. The proof is in how much better you are today than you were a year ago. If you're not undeniable yet, good. That means there's work to be done. That means there's room to grow. That means the fight's not over. But don't just aim to improve, aim to dominate. Aim to be so rare, so sharp, so necessary, that your presence becomes the edge no one else can copy. That's the mindset that changes everything. That's how you stop chasing success and start attracting it. That's how you go from optional to essential, by becoming undeniable first, then irreplaceable forever.
By the time most people realize what game they're in, it's already too late. They spent their whole life trying to fit in when they should have been obsessed with standing out. They wasted years being replaceable, comfortable, safe, when they could have been dangerous. But that's not going to be you, because now you know that being irreplaceable isn't about titles, it's about proof. You know that no one's going to hand you freedom. You have to earn it through execution, through consistency, through building a skill set so sharp, so precise, so powerful that the world can't function without it. This isn't about motivation. This isn't about hype. This is about making a decision, a real one, to become someone the market needs, not wants, needs. That's your path. That's your edge. That's how you stop being one of many and become the one they can't afford to lose. Be undeniable, and everything else follows.